about only this lecture will be totally dealing with the applications of IoT. Now, let us start with the first slide, which is nothing but the introduction to IoT, where about the title of the course. So I'm continuously repeating this thing because you must get the definition of IoT by heart. It should be, because in most of the interviews where the IoT based industries are there, they are going to ask you what is actually IoT, how does it go work out, what are the IoT techniques, what are the IoT platforms, and all these questions will be there in the interviews. Because now most of the industries which were in industry 3.0 has started moving towards industry 4.0, and you'll be seeing a lot of changes happening around, a lot of new concepts being introduced, and IoT is one of them. So obviously the internet of things definition has to be there, which should be by heart by you. So that's why I'm repeating it continuously. Right from lecture 1, I kept on telling you what is IoT. So once again we'll be seeing what is IoT, and then we'll move to the applications, and we'll discuss about the applications. So the IoT is nothing but, let us first define the internet, and then we'll move towards the IoT. So internet is nothing but, it is the system architecture that has revolutionized communication and methods by allowing various computer networks around the world to connect. Clear cut, it does mean that there are various computer networks around the world that are interconnected with each other through a system architecture that will help you for the communication, is called as internet. Things are nothing but the physical objects which are called as things or person or idea. Then internet of things, when we combine these two words together, we get it is a network of physical objects or persons called as things that are embedded with software, electronics network, and sensors that allow these objects to collect and exchange the data. So obviously the internet is going to be having the help of software, electronics network, and sensors, and these will allow the objects to collect and exchange the data between them, is called as the internet of things. So right from the beginning I've been telling you that you should know what is internet of things. Now we'll see one by one what are the applications of internet of things. The first one is wearables. So it is quite a trend going on about the wearables. There are a lot of wearables being around, moving around, like the nowadays due to pandemic, you might be seeing there are two things. One is the temperature device, which actually measures the temperature of the body, and second is the oxygen level. The oxygen level can be found out with the help of a device, that is an oxygen level oxygen measured device. So you can see that these two devices are nothing but the variables, and these variables are based on the IoT variables. Most of the time you find a smart watch coming into the picture, smart bracelets are there, then the heart rate monitors are there, then you have a blood pressure monitor systems. Then you also measure the number of steps you walked out. Your walking has been measured. Then how much is your diastolic and systolic. uh, then what is your body mass index, and all those things which are related with the variables. These variables can easily provide you the information with the help of IoT. So they are mostly IoT based. So after after decades, in after a decade, you find these variables coming into the picture and becoming a very common things. So wearable technology is an hallmark of IoT applications, and is probably one of the earliest industries to have deployed the IoT at its services. So obviously the wearable technology which are based on IoT is the most important trend in the industry that is going on at its service. Then we happen to see the Fitbits are there, the heart rate monitors are there, the smart watches are there everywhere these days. So you'll be finding these variables all around, while you might be seeing while moving in the park, or while going for the jogging and all those things, you find the variables in their hand. So one of the lesser known variables include the Gordian glucose monitoring device. Also, you can also monitor your glucose, even glucose, lactose and fructose. You can also monitor those things. The devices which is developed to aid people suffering from diabetes, especially for diabetes patient, also there is a special device that actually measures the sugar level, and accordingly the sugar level can be maintained by that individual person. Then it detects glucose level in the body using a tiny electrode called as glucose sensor is there, which is placed under the skin and relay the information via RF to the monitoring device. So glucose level in the body can be easily measured with the help of glucose sensor under skin, and which can be monitored. Then after the variables, the second most important is the healthcare. So for the healthcare also, there are a lot of the devices being made. So nowadays you will finding that the information can be the whatever the parameter, body parameters that have been measured, these body parameters are measured and not only sent to the doctor on its computer, but also through devices also. So you can see that there is an urgency in case of medical based systems. So continuous monitoring of the patient can be done with the help of the healthcare devices. So you can see from the figure there is our care devices which are given to the smart sensors, and through gateway it is given to the cloud, and from cloud to the remote signal, and then to the smart devices. So you can easily track your or monitor the patient's status about the health. The IoT applications can turn reactive medical based systems into proactive wellness based systems. So you can see that the medical based systems can be easily converted into proactive wellness based systems. The resources that current medical research uses lack critical real world information. So obviously the medical research that was using up till now lack little bit of real world information. That means I was not able to get the real time status of the patient. So if the patient is there and it is he is suffering from diseases, they have to check and get the information. But nowadays you can see that in a very quick time the monitoring of the patient can be done in a very quick way. It mostly uses the leftover data, controlled environments, and volunteers for medical examination. IoT opens ways to see of valuable data through analysis, real-time field data, and testing. So obviously, if I said that the data of real-time data, if collected of the patients, the doctor can examine it very easily, analyze it easily, and as well as real-time field data can be monitored and tested. The Internet of Things also improves the current devices in power, precision, and availability. So obviously, the precision and availability has been increased a lot. If you see that now earlier there were devices which were completely an analog devices, where the approximation was considered, the approximation data was considered. But nowadays, when we are moving into the digital world, then the Internet of Things has brought the precision and into a very important concept, and also the availability of the devices, and has made it very easy for the doctors. IoT focuses on creating systems rather than just equipment. So obviously there is a difference between like creating a system and having just an equipment are two different things. Even if you have a doc, even if the doctors are having an equipment, and if it is only like an acting as an equipment, then there is no use. So obviously it should behave like a system. When input is given, it should give an output. So accordingly, the IoT is focusing on that kind of concept. Then the smart cities. Now this is also was the motto which was a decade before decided that there has to be some smart cities, and India have chosen 20 cities to be made smart by 2020. Although we are on the track, but we have not completed the whole things, because there are a lot of concepts that occurs of building the smart cities. So I have told you the example of IoT as a street light. So that was the example. So in case of street lights, can also be very important for traffic. Now, street lights will, as I said, that there will be different street lights. These street lights informations will be given to the controller, where the information will be stored, and then this controller will be given to the centrally control and monitoring system. So through centrally control and monitoring systems, you can easily turn on and off of the street light whenever you require to made them on or off. So that is one of the optimized traffic systems. That is one of the most important concept. So the hypothesis of the optimized traffic system is one of the many aspects that constitutes a smart city. Obviously, if the traffic control is going to be there and if it is optimized, then the smart city, that will be one of the most important features to moving towards a smart city. The things about smart city concept is that it's very specific to the city, so obviously it is going to vary from city to city. Now, as far as Mumbai, Delhi is concerned, so obviously according to the city, the infrastructure, as well as the traffic conditions, all these things will come into the picture, and it will be varied. So the problems of Mumbai will be as far as different as compared to the Delhi. So depending upon city to city, what are the what are the issues that are related with the smart cities can be studied, can be analyzed, and then accordingly the ways can be applied, varying city to city. So that is also very much important. Even the global issues like finite clean drinking water, deteriorating air quality, and increasing the urban density occur in different intensities across city. Hence, they affect each city differently. Obviously, each city varies depending upon the density of the population also. So, as far as there are some of the global issues which has to be controlled all over the cities. So which includes like clean drinking water. So obviously the cleaning of clean drinking water has to be there. So water purifiers will be there, and automatic water purification. Then deteriorating air quality. So how to get an pure oxygen, what are the techniques to get the pure oxygen in the city, and increasing the urban density occur in different intensities across the city, and hence they affect each city differently. So depending upon where and what are the conditions of that particular city, the concepts can be applied. The use of IoT applications can aid in areas like water management, waste control, and emergency with town planning. So again, these are the very most important parts, as in order to make cities a smart city. So obviously, the areas like water management, that has to be done. Otherwise, what happens is there are some of the areas where water is given in a lot, and there are some areas where water management is not done properly. So obviously that is going to be the crucial important part. In that way, in that case also, IoT can play a very crucial role. Then waste control is also very much important, because you nowadays find the water getting polluted because of industrial waste and the chemical waste from the industries. And so the water is getting polluted. So that has to be controlled. So how we can come to know that from where which part is getting polluted, or how the pollution can be controlled. So through IoT applications, we can also go to the water management as well as waste control. And also one of the most important is that you can also go for the town planning. That is also very one of the most important concept to build up smart cities. Now town planning has to be in such a way that the traffic management has to be done, or the locations of the cities in is built up in such a way that there is all a way comfortable. You can find an every way way as a comfortable way. So there are different areas on which the IoT can be used and can be helpful. So as far as the smart cities is concerned, so obviously the traffic system will be there. Then second, the clean drinking water, then the air quality, increasing urban density, and then water management, waste control, and emergency as far as town planning is concerned. So all these concepts in the smart cities will be very important, and IoT can be helpful in order to improve the conditions. Then yet another application, and very important applications, is about the agriculture. So as we know that the India is an agriculture country, and you find that 70% of the population does depend on the agriculture. And now what is happening is that you find now a lot of issues being going on in the agriculture. The farming is not up to the mark. If we can say that there are some of the cities in Israel where the only 3% of the people do an agriculture, but still because of the high advanced technique they can provide it to the 30% of the population. They can provide 30% of the food to the 30% of the population. So that does mean that a 3% can do a lot. But in India, as we know that earlier there was 70% of the agriculture people were doing. Now it is reduced to somewhat 35 or 40. So a lot of issues has been going on as far as the agriculture is concerned. The agriculture percentage has been dropping, and there are a lot of reasons behind it, that there is no as such very high technology being introduced in the agriculture. So that is the by far the most important thing, is that these changes has to be made in agriculture. Because what is happening is that even in the rainy season you find sometimes there is less rain, or sometimes there is large amount of rain. So in order to face these kinds of situation, the farmers doesn't have a lot of options with them. So there should be, the farming has to be very automated farming. So there are different ways in which the farming can be adopted so that the yield can be increased. So a greenhouse farming technique is one of the most important, that enhances the yield of the crops by controlling the environmental parameters. So the environmental parameters are very much important. That may be the moisture, that may be the temperature, the soil conditions, and also they can come to know about the conditions of their plants. So through greenhouse farming technique, we can yield the crops by controlling environmental parameters. However, manual handling results in production loss, energy loss, labor cost, and making the process less effective. So instead of handling manually, why not to go for a greenhouse? So a greenhouse with embedded devices not only makes it easier to be monitored, but also enables us to control the climate inside, which is very very much important. So what happens is that during the summer you can find that because of high temperature, the plants get dried up. Or in rainy season you find that because of the large amount of rain, uh, they get they get wasted. So accordingly we can say that if the environmental conditions can be controlled, or the climate can be controlled, and that can be helped with the help of greenhouse can be done. The sensors measures different parameters according to the plant requirement and send it to the cloud. So all the sensors like moisture sensor is there, temperature sensors is there, then the various other sensors are there which will collect the information of the plant, and it will send it to the cloud. There it will be process the data and then apply the accordingly the control action. So through cloud, if it will be sent, it will be monitored in real time basis, and then accordingly the control can be applied, the control action can be applied. So greenhouse farming technique has to be very much important. So you can see that the greenhouse uh, agriculture way of finding it out, like you can see that the information can be collected, the information can be collected, and through smartphone you can smartphone can be acting as a remote control. So the remote commands will be given to the gateway, and then where it could be monitored and displayed. And then you can see that uh, if from the cloud it will be connected to the connection gateway, then it will be given to the sensors and actuators and controls and switch gears where it can be on and off. As well, you can monitor it, and as well as you can control it through your smartphones also. So obviously this is going to be very much important. So inside the greenhouse you can see there are sensors and actuators where the data will be collected, and inside the greenhouse you can see the picture. It is very clear from this figure. Then comes the industrial automation. With IoT applications, one could even re-engineer the products and the packaging to deliver better performance in both cost as well as customer experience. So accordingly, now industry is moving to from industry 3.0 to 4.0. Obviously, there will be a lot of changes happening around. So IoT can prove to be a game changing with the solutions for all the following domains. So which may be like factory digitalization, then product flow monitoring, inventory management, safety and security, quality control, so packaging optimization, logistic and supply chain management. These are the things that can be applied for the industrial automation. Now, at this moment, if we see that the industry 3.0 or 2.0, most of the works are done being manually, and then most of the processes are also done manually. So, for a better purpose, if the through sensors, if the all informations about the machineries, about the processes is been collected in real time, and accordingly fault can be found out or the error can be found out, then it will be boosting the industrial process and the output. So obviously the outcome is going to be the by far the most important thing, and in this industrial automation will play a very very important role. So for the following domain, first one is factory digitalization. Obviously most of the parts you find that there are analog process going on, so the digitalization has to be done. Then product flow monitoring, so obviously that flow can be monitored and that can be controlled as well as monitored. Then inventory management has to be done. Then you can go for the safety and security. Then quality control can be also, once you monitor and control the things, the quality control can be easily done. Then packaging optimization, then logistic and supply chain management. Then after industrial automation, there is one more concept, one more application, which is based on the smart grid. So obviously the IoT smart grid solution serves today's energy demand. So obviously as we are moving towards an era where a lot of energy is being consumed. So how these energy demand and uh, how this energy demand can be fulfilled, that is the most important thing. So one of the concept is smart grid. So in case of IoT smart grid solution, it can serve today's energy demand. Now they have up to practical solutions to balance out increasing complexity of energy distribution networks and achieve real-time visibility into consumption process. So how much to be consumed and how much is available, that has to be calculated, and through smart grid we can calculate that. To comply with advanced production process, energy sectors are progressively collaborating the IoT technologies with the smart grid ecosystems. So obviously the smart grid ecosystems and your energy sectors, they are going to be going in hand to hand, and if they go, then the energy demand can be fulfilled. Then smart supply chain. Now the IoT technologies offers a practical approach to take the supply chain management to the next level. Obviously, this has to be done in a such a way that the supply chain has to be made in a smart. So how can be done by taking it to the next level. The logistic transportation industries and have started leveraging comprehensive IoT solutions to manage good from anywhere and at any time at global scale. This is also because of the smart supply chain. Then we'll move to the last application, that is smart home applications. Now as far as smart home applications is concerned, now you can go for total automation of a smart home. Like I've given example, like you can control your like fans, that may be AC, that may be fridge, that may be washing machine. All these devices which are smart devices can be controlled with the help of IoT, that can be switched on or off with the help of IoT. So if you can come to know that, there's a best example that if I'm in the market and if I find that I don't know what is there in my house, or and I have to find out in the fridge, then through information through the IoT, we can get the information on your mobile that what has to be bought in from the market. So this is possible with the help of smart home. You can make an automated door close on off, then might be the fans, ACs, bulbs, tubes. Then you can also turn on and off your washing machines, your fridge. So all these things is possible with the help of IoT, and that can be controlled through your mobile also, not only PC, but it can be also controlled through mobiles. So these are the some of the applications of IoT. I hope that you might have got all these things. So these are some of the applications. So now we'll move towards the attendance. Roll number one.
Yes, sir, present.
Okay. Roll number two.
Yes, sir.
Roll number three.
Yes, sir.
Roll number four.
Yes, sir.
Roll number five. Six.
Yes, sir.
Seven. Eight.
Yes, sir.
Nine.
Nine.
10. 11. 12.
Yes, sir.
13. 14.
Present, sir.
15. 16.
Yes, sir.
17.
Yes, sir.
18. 19.
Present, sir.
20. 21. 22.
Yes, sir.
23. 24. 25. 26. 27.
Present.
Okay. 28. 29. 30. 31.
Present, sir.
32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37.
Yes,
Okay. 38.
sir.
39. Ah,
Yes, sir.
38 is there, na? Hello, 38 is there? 39,
Yes, sir.
40, 41,
Present.
42, 43,
Present, sir.
44, 45, 46,
Yes, sir.
47,
Yes, sir.
48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53,
Present.
54, 55,
Present.
56, 57, 58, 59, 60,
Yes, sir.
61, 62. Any other number remaining?
50.
Sir, 46
52,
is
sir.
present.
50 is there, 52 is there,
Sir, 43.
46, sir.
43 लिखा है और
46.
46.
46 भी लिखा है. Okay. Is it okay? Okay, thank you.